March Inventory Madness has put Lady Luck on your side. Premier Heating and Air has a huge limited inventory offer on new heating and air units until they're gone. Don't wait. Find Lucky in your mailbox or online at premierishere.com. The choice is clear. Experience Premier.
What's up, guys? We're here for our next episode of Grilling with Gary, and we're going to do pork ribs this time. So we're back here at Piggly Wiggly, and we're going to make a selection of some of our ribs that they got here. They have a pre-done St. Louis cut all natural rib, which is good, or they have an entire spare rib here, which will work too. So what I'll do is I'll just grab a spare rib, and then I'm going to look for one of the heavier slabs of these all naturals, which looks like about this one, and these will be the ones that we'll prep up for this episode. All right, so we're here at Piggly Wiggly here, which are now carrying our Holy Smokes barbecue all-purpose seasoning here. We're just going to grab one of these, and this is what we're going to use to season our ribs with today. What's up, y'all? We're back here in the backyard getting ready to get rolling on these ribs. So I have my pellet grill set on the lowest setting for smoke right now. And so we're going to go ahead and get these ribs prepped up while the grill is getting warmed up. So we're going to start with these full spare ribs that Nick had there at Piggly Wiggly. And I'll show you how we cut these and prep them into St. Louis cut. This is a nice meaty slab. So whenever I'm looking for these, I want a whole lot of meat in there, and I'm looking for some of the heavier ones that they have. So there's a lot of excess stuff on here, so we're going to get it all cleaned up, and I'll show you how we do this. First, what I'm going to do is turn it over to the back side here, and I'm going to cut this little flap meat off right here. Now, if you want to keep that on, you can. It'll be just fine. But for me, I try to get it up, as clean as I can, so we're not going to have any fat or any excess stuff on there. So what I'm doing here is just trying to get all this excess fat trimmed off and get it as neat looking as I can. So this is what they would call the full spare rib where we are now. I'm about to cut this down into St. Louis. And what I'm going to do is find the tallest bone right here, and then I'm going to try to cut a parallel line with the end of the bone all the way down with it, and it's squaring that up. So I'll have a nice square slab here. Save these because you can cook these later for your rib tips, and these will be just an extra, a little cook's treat, so to say, while you're doing it. And so once I've got that squared up, I'm going to come over here and just take this little excess off because it doesn't look all that great. Now, one thing that the regular home cook may not do whenever they're doing with their ribs is pulling the membrane off the back. So that's a really important part to where you want to get the smoke and your seasoning to impart all the way through that rib, and this membrane acts as a barrier from that happening. If you've ever cooked a slab of ribs and didn't pull that membrane, you seasoned the back, what you probably have noticed is that the seasoning didn't stick and it all fell off. And you're really not wanting that to happen. You're wanting to get a good layer of seasoning all over both sides of the ribs. And what I like to do to do that is I'll reach between the second and third bone and pull a bit of that up like this. And then I'm going to walk around right here, just kind of work myself around with the membrane until I get over the top. And once I've gotten to the top like this, I'll give it a pull and get all of that off of there. Now, I've done hundreds of thousands of slabs. I made that look a little easier than what it probably is. But if you really need help when you're doing it, you may just try to grab you a paper towel or something, and it'll help you get a little better grip on that. And that usually will help you to get that membrane off. But now under that membrane, there's a little bit of excess fat there that I'm really trying not to eat. And so I'm going to trim that off the best that I can. and just get all this excess stuff right here. And the back of this is looking pretty good. And now I'm going to come turn my attention to the front side here. Now there's a decent amount of fat left in here, and like we said before, fat equals flavor, but there's nothing worse than taking a big bite of rib and having a whole mouthful of fat. So we're going to trim some of this off and make it just a little less in there. The marbling fat striations, which you can see here, those are good pieces right there. That's kind of what you're looking for. But the thick fat that sits on top is unappealing, and you really don't want to have that in your mouthful of rib. So I've got this all slimmed up there. Got it nice and trim. Try to get a little bit of that. And then I'll just go over to the other slab that I have here and trim it up as well. This is a Prairie Fresh all natural rib, and these are what a lot of the competition guys are cooking now. It's really a good rib with not any additives to it. So Nick usually has those up there at the butcher shop as well. So it may be something that you want to try out as well. Okay. Now this guy still needs a little bit of love, even though it's already trimmed down to the St. Louis cut. And let's see here. So I'm going to find my top bone here again, and I'm going to go straight down and just even this slab up. You can leave this on if you want to. You know, I'm just trying to make it look pretty, as pretty as I can, but it's not going to affect your cooking at all. And this rib right here already has some of the membrane pulled off, so it's going to make a little bit tougher of a rib to prep, but we'll still get it. Get all the way down to this membrane there and get what I can. And see, sometimes if it does like this, just come off to the back and just kind of slice and just do your best to get it out of there. Get this swapped around. These ribs are ready to season. Now that I've got these all trimmed up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my favorite rub. This happens to be our Holy Smokes All-Purpose, but you get whatever rub you like. If you make one yourself, or if you have one at the store that you want to use, even any of them will work. But what I'm going to do is start on this back side, and what I'm going to do is do what they call like a nice medium coat. So it's not really a heavy coat, but it's not a light coat. And what I do when I'm seasoning, I usually season up high, and that way I can get better coverage with it. It seems like I have a little better control of the rub whenever I am up a little bit higher with it. So this is what I would call a nice medium coat of rub there. So I'll get the back side here, flip this around. These are some pretty ribs, so we're going to do some justice with them here in this grill. And so what I like to do is once I get them seasoned up, I usually let them sit out for about 20 to 30 minutes and just let that rub sweat in there good. And what that'll do is just draw some of the natural moisture out of the rib, and it'll help the rub penetrate into the rib some. So it's not necessary to do that, but it does help if you've got the time just to kind of let them sweat out on the table for a little bit before you throw them in the grill. I'll season these guys up and put them in later. And one other thing that does good, which I did before I started seasoning, whenever you have a rub, it's good to shake the bottle up, because sometimes the thinner, finer grains of the spices or seasonings will get to the bottom of the the jug. So if you shake it good before you do that, it doesn't only leave the bigger pieces up to the top. It mixes the rub in, and you have it all to the, all the spices that are mixed in will be evenly distributed, and you'll get them all on your ribs. So that's a little pro tip, is to shake up your rubs before you put them on the meats. All right, now that we've got our ribs prepped up, we're gonna bring them over here to the smoker. We're using another pellet grill here. I have the grill turned all the way down to the lowest setting because I want the smoke coming out the best that I can. If you don't do that, it's fine, but you really wanna make sure that you get a little bit of smoke. Since a pellet grill burns so clean, the more smoke you can get towards the beginning of the cook, the better. So what I usually do is I'll start my grill off on the smoke setting or the low setting, and I'll let it run about 40 minutes at that temperature. What that's gonna do is help the smoke get into those ribs good. And once it's been on about 40 minutes, I'll turn the grill up to 300 degrees, and then I'll start getting them ready like that. But once I get them onto the grill, what I like to do is get them in here straight and squish them together. And once they're in there, I use I can't believe it's not butter spray. And what this does is it helps to keep the flavor. It kind of has like a salty, sweet flavor to it, but it also keeps your ribs from getting too dark, and it helps to make them look like a little cleaner slab as it's cooking. So I've got them in, I've got them squished, and I'm just gonna hit them with a light layer right here on the top. And they're gonna be in here for 40 minutes. Then we're gonna bump them up. And every probably 30 minutes, I'll come in and I'll spray the ribs down with this. Just when they start looking a little dry, a nice little light coating of that will help keep them moist and keep them looking nice and shiny.
Hi, I'm Tom Dominy. Here at W. Nelson, we pride ourselves on providing the industry's highest quality products at the most competitive pricing. We are a full-service wholesaler specializing in plumbing, irrigation, and industrial products. With a staff that collectively offers more than 50 years of expertise, our team knows your industry, and we can answer your questions and help you get the parts and equipment you need. From mowing to Renee, we carry the plumbing, irrigation, and industrial products you need from the brands you trust. We also carry a great lineup of Milwaukee tools. At W. Nelson, our goal is the long-term success of your business. We achieve that goal with a simple commitment, doing things right, one customer at a time. If you have a question, or if you're looking for a hard-to-find part, give us a call. Our experts are ready to help. Order online, give us a call, or come by at 507 Airport Road in Dublin. We're committed to building long-term relationships with our customers by earning your business every day.
Hi, I'm Michael Wheelis with Dublin Piggly Wiggly, inviting you to come in and shop with us today. We've got a great lineup of produce, groceries, and fresh meats, including pork, beef, and chicken. Come shop with us today, where we cut fresh every day. Don't forget, our butchers are always ready for any special cuts. Call ahead and we'll be glad to get it ready for you today. Dublin Piggly Wiggly, your authorized certified Angus beef dealer.
All right, guys. So I've ran these on the smoke setting for about 40 minutes, and then I've had about an hour and 10 minutes for them running at 300. And what I'm looking for is a good red type rib. So I want to look for something that the smoke has penetrated good and be ready to look kind of the way I want it to when it's done. And now I'm getting ready to wrap them. So I'll go ahead and get these out and let you see. I went and I've spritzed these a couple of times, and then I went once and just sprayed a little bit of rub on the top of it just to kind of even another little layer of rub. But these guys are ready to wrap. So I'm going to pull these out of the grill, and we're going to take them back over to the cutting board and get them ready to wrap. I'll show you exactly what I do. So the purists are probably going to be mad at me for doing this, but wrapping ribs is what just everyone does when they're doing it. It helps them braise, it helps them get tender, it keeps them from getting too dark. And what a lot of people call this is the Texas crutch. So I'm going to show you what we do here and how I wrap my ribs. So I get a nice heavy duty foil. This is something that I got at Piggly Wiggly, just regular old Reynolds wrap, heavy duty. And I'm going to pull out a piece a little bit shorter than what this cutting board is, but you want to have about 4 inches on either side of where your ribs are. So I've got my piece here, and I'm going to start bone side down with those. Go get me a brush. And so how I'll start it with this is a nice parquet, regular parquet butter there, and just a regular honey here. That's what we start off with. That's what I'll roll with to start off my my rib process, the wrap liquid. So what I'll do is I put just a nice, I don't know, about an ounce of honey on either side. And so right here on the top, I've got my honey. And then I can't believe it's not butter here. So I've got my butter on, and I got my honey. And so now I'm just going to spread those around nice and even, making sure that I distribute it everywhere on this rib. So I want to get it on the top, the bottom, the sides, everywhere that we're going right here with that. And so once I get that on there good, a regular dark brown sugar will be kind of my next thing here. So once I've done that, put a decent little layer right here on it. And you could do this first and put it down on your foil, but I like to get it to where I could just spread it evenly everywhere. That way I know every bit's got on every part of this rib. And so now I got the top done. I'm going to flip it over and get to the back here. So the same thing. We got our honey. Then we're going to run with our parquet butter. We'll get this spread out on here nice and good. And then our brown sugar on them. Okay. And so now that that's spread real even, what I do is I like to try to make a boat. And so I flip it up and flip the sides, and I'm making a little bit of a boat right here. And now I'm going to add about 2 to 4 ounces of apple juice into this. So we'll get a little on the top and then put the rest in the bottom. And the way that I fold them, I'll fold the bottom up, then the top, and then fold my sides over. The reason I do it this way is because I want to be able to check the ribs later. And if I do it in a nice orderly way instead of kind of crumbling it up, this way I can open it up and it can show later without having to worry about the about being able not to open them up anymore. So these guys are done. They're ready to go back in the grill. Once he goes, this right here is at 300, and we'll leave them in the grill here for probably another 45 minutes to an hour and a half. We're waiting until the ribs are tender, and once they get good and tender, then they'll be ready to pull out.
Spring has sprung, and inventory's popping up everywhere at Dublin Chevy GMC. Whether it's a Canyon or an HD Silverado, we have what you're looking for. With rates as low as 2.9 for 72 months, come pick your Silverado or Sierra. Or if you're looking for a full-size SUV, we have a great selection of Yukons and Tahoes. Remember to visit myDublinChevrolet.com for all your sales or service needs. Remember, Don sells cars and trucks well, only at Dublin Chevy GMC.
You've been saying you want it, and now's the time to get it. Pool and patio furniture in style with fabrics you want, comfort and durability you deserve. You'll even save on accessories and add your own personal style. Come see the full line of pool and patio furniture at Mid-State Pools and Spas today and bring home a colorful poolside. Now's a great time to save at Mid-State Pools and Spas, located on Veterans Boulevard in Dublin. Mid-State Pools and Spas. We know pools.
So these ribs have been on and wrapped for about an hour, and I think they're ready to be checked now. What I'm gonna do is just fold open both my sides and check at what we got here. And when you see a couple of the bones popping out like this, and you can get two bones right next to one another and have them pop out, you know your ribs are done. So these ribs are done and they're ready to come out to glaze. All right guys, so we got these out. They've been done off the smoker. I'm going to bring them over here and dump out any of the excess liquid. A lot of that liquid has gotten itself into the ribs and some of it's dripped out. So what I'll do now is I'm creating a little boat for these to go glaze in. So this would just be like a little pan, improvised pan. And get whatever your favorite barbecue sauce is. I'm just using our little sweet and smoky sauce we have at the restaurant. Here's what I'll glaze them with. And I'll start on the back and put a decent layer on there. And brush this, guys, until it's nice and evenly coated. And at this point, doesn't hurt to do a nice little light dusting of your rub again, because you want to be able to taste that as well. So a nice light coat of that. Then we're going to flip them over to the other side. Man, oh man, they just look great. You can see through, you can see the meat that's on there. They really did good. And so we'll put us a nice light coating of our sauce on here. Spread that out. Just get a nice even. Make sure you get all of it coated. And then another light dusting of the rub on top. And in barbecue, one of the big things is the little things that you don't think matter, they matter. And so I'm going to just get me a little bit of my wrap liquid juice that came here, and I'm just going to go right over the top. But it's the little things that you do that kind of set it over the top. So if you're wanting to be the king of your cul-de-sac and barbecue cooking, these little tricks will help you do that. So these guys are nice. We got a good coating of sauce and rub on there. I'm going to put them back on the smoker for probably about 10 minutes, and we're going to let this sauce set. And that'll have a nice glaze. It'll be sticky. It'll be on them, and it'll just make a really great rib. Put these guys in there, let them go nighty-night for another 10 minutes. We invite y'all to come down to Holy Smokes Barbecue, Dublin's fresh everyday barbecue source. 1100 Hillcrest Parkway, 272 Ribs. You can place your orders online, DublinBBQ.com. We're all about faith, family, and friends. And remember, life's too short to eat bad barbecue. Remember, later this summer or early fall, our second location at 2123 South Highway 441, the old Shoney's building. We're remodeling that up so we'll be able to better serve you, offer more of our grilled options and other things that we do. So we're so thankful for you, Dublin. You guys have been so good to us, and we just want to invite you guys just to come on and experience what we think good barbecue is.
Imagine a life-changing injury. Imagine the fear and unknown. The Houston Clinic Sports Medicine Team, the only physicians in the area with advanced certification in orthopedic sports medicine, treats sports injuries with innovative techniques. The Houston Clinic has helped nearly 1 million athletes live without pain. Imagine getting back in the game. Imagine the best game of your life. The Houston Clinic Sports Medicine Team.
All right, guys, we have our glaze set. Let's have a look at what they're looking like in there. They're shining like a new penny. That's how you know they're done. We've got a good St. Louis cut rib here, done competition style, but really a solid rib, easy to do at home on your pellet grill that you have. So let's get these guys off. So before I get out these ribs and slice them, what I'm gonna do is just put me a light little layer right here on the cutting board. That way I don't lose all the seasoning and the glaze that I put on there. I'm gonna flip them over backwards like that. And let's get some of this juice that's in there. Put it back on the back there. So we're gonna go ahead and slice these guys up. Man, I can just feel the knife go right through them. They are so tender. We're gonna put the small ones on the bottom here. Here we go. A nice slab of competition style ribs. Good smoke ring. They're juicy. You can just see all the moisture in them. Just a great rib here. Mima, I think I'll have one. How about you?
Oh, sounds good to me.
It's hot.
Okay. Wow, delicious.
Fall out the bone. What a great rib. Man, that's good.
Sure is. Love it.
So, if you guys want to be a part of what we're doing here, join our Grillin' with Gary Facebook page and let us know what the next items you'd like for us to do. Anything out of doors, we'll be happy to grill. If you have any sides that you would like us to do, just let us know and we'll be happy to whip them up and kind of show you what our take is on them. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.